Hello everybody, my name is Sarah Lauren and I haven't been on here for a bit, so I thought I would just jump straight into it before I do another vlog of me before I leave to go back home for the Christmas holidays. I wanted to fill you in on because this is my first semester. I just finished. Today will be the last day of classes of my 3-semester program. I moved from Canada, Toronto to New York City for my master's. If you don't know me that well, that's what I just did, and I thought that I would I had a lot of friends in Toronto and I thought I'd just jump right into the swing of things here when I came to New York, but that is not the case. And I know that a lot of people move to different countries or even pretty far away from home if it's the same country to do school or work, regardless of what that reason is, but it is kind of hard. And as an adult now, it is really hard to make friends, and I thought that I'd just jump in and have like all these friends from school and stuff, but you know, everyone's different. And it took me, I've been here I guess 5 months now. It took me 5 months to have a good like 5 friends or 6 friends, like a handful of friends now here. Of course I still have all my best friends from back home, but you want your friends and like your circle here too, right? So it did take me a little bit, and it wasn't as easy as I thought. I was pretty anxious and homesick the first couple of months, but now I have some great friends and plans, and I'm such a busy person that I like having plans and I like feeling needed from people, and I had that back home, but here I was finding myself like in my own thoughts and things. And I used to live with 3 girls in a townhouse in Toronto, so there's 4 of us, so it was always loud. We always were talking to each other, pulling from each other's closets. Like, you'd come home and there'd be someone just sitting there or doing homework, and you'd kind of do everything together. So it's a lot different coming back home to just myself. I found what helped was turning on the TV and having just that sound in the background. So if you are living alone, if you are living alone now but coming from living with people, regardless if that's a family or just friends, just know that it is a little different. I know that other people probably have different experiences than me, but for me it was hard. So if it's hard for you, it was hard for me too, and I'm getting to a spot where I'm comfortable. And honestly, if someone asked me if I wanted to have a roommate now, I think I'd say no. Like, I'm kind of enjoying my own free space. I eat what I want, I put in my cupboards what I want, I can leave whenever I want. The mess that I leave with, like if I leave the house one day or the apartment and I come home, the mess is mine. So like, it's all on me, and cleaning up and all that, it's all on me. So it is a really big step into like the maturing aspect of life. So if you are, you know, thinking of taking the next step, it will take a bit, but you will get there. And now I can confidently say that I like living alone. I love when people come to visit, but I do like having my own space, especially like when people come to visit. Like, my friends can come to visit and it can just be us, like hanging out. It doesn't have to be roommates or whatever, and I think that that's kind of nice too. So yeah, I am in therapy, and I had my therapy session. I had a therapy session and it was really informative, and I kind of just felt the need to share what I learned and what I kind of realized, share it with you or with anybody else that's thinking of moving away, just so they know, because I didn't really think of these things before. But I'm a very go getter, and I am fast paced. I love being busy all the time. Like I said, I like being needed by people. So coming to a city where I didn't know anyone, I felt like an ant. I felt like an ant in this huge city, which is exactly what I was. But it's different going from a place like Toronto or a smaller city or even town, where like you'd turn the corner or you'd go downtown and you'd see someone you know and you'd be like, hey, like whatever, and smile and wave and see a familiar face. But here you're meeting people all the time, and I've grown to like that. I've grown to look forward to, you know, going places, regardless if it's like a bar or a gym or a restaurant, and just being able to meet new people. Like, life is so short. We should meet and be nice to every single person you meet, because you don't know if they're gonna help you with something or be your boss in the future. So yeah, it was really nice of a realization for me to just like open my mind up to that kind of aspect. I was missing the whole like seeing people I knew and familiar faces, which I still do, and it's nice when I go back home to have that. But it is also nice to just, you know, like meet new people and new opportunities and all of this kind of stuff. So that definitely was a big lesson learned, but I'm glad I'm on the other side of it. Now with Christmas coming up, it is like something for me to look forward to, being able to go back home and be with my family for a bit. But I feel like I will miss the city, which I hope I do because I'm coming back. But yeah. Another thing, I wrote it all down, so if I look down it's because I'm reading my notes because I took a lot of notes during this therapy session. So I wrote down, your path was so hard. So I tried really hard to get into this master's program, and I had to have certain grades for my undergraduate. I had to have reference letters. I had to have a portfolio, and I tried really hard to do that to its perfect, like as hard as I could. I worked towards that goal of getting into this school, and that path wasn't easy. It was hard, and it took a lot of work. And once I got here, I was like, what's next? I don't know what exactly I want to do in the future for work. I know I love creative direction. I know I love technology and innovation of the fashion industry, but I don't know exactly what I wanted to do. And I think that like open space and open spot of me, the not knowing, was scaring me to death. Like I was so anxious. I was like, what am I working towards? Of course I'm trying hard in my master's program. Of course I'm trying to get internships. Of course I'm trying to meet new friends and connections and all this stuff. But I didn't know what that end goal was, because before my end goal was master's program, but now it's just work. I don't want to get my PhD. So of course my marks, I'm gonna try as hard as I can, but like the marks don't essentially matter as much as they would for undergrad to get into this master's program. So now it's like I just need to take everything in and use it, and like who knows, use it in my outside life too, so that I can open those opportunities and those doors for my career. So yeah, the path might not have a destination for you, and if it doesn't, don't worry. My friend once told me, live in the moment. You're not living in the moment. You're just trying as hard to be the best at everything, and you're just like skipping these little times. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I had like a bit of like a realization, and I was like, I need to live in the moment. So sometimes I check myself, and like my mom was here on the weekend, and I knew that we had to do A, B, C, D, E, F, G things to do, and I was kind of rushing the first couple days, but then I was like, wait, live in the moment. And you just live in the moment. Don't worry about what's happening next. Enjoy that thing that you guys are doing now. And that really made me a lot calmer and appreciate it, and like know that like you don't always have to look to the next thing. You can just be where your feet are and be where you are at that moment and enjoy that now. And that really did help me and my anxiety. Another thing I wrote down is your purpose. So my purpose on this earth, I could go all into it, but my purpose is to obviously be a good person, but to make a difference in this world and the fashion industry. So I know that. So I know that I have these purposes, obviously be healthy and athletic and all those things too. But once you understand your purpose and like what you kind of want to do and what you stand for and your values and everything, it really does put you onto a better foot, because you just know how you stand, you know how you carry yourself, you know why you're doing certain things, and you can kind of say no to a lot of things too, easier too. Like you're not gonna waste your time doing things that you don't want to do if they don't fit your purpose, right? So that was a big one that I wrote down. Another thing was, yeah, so we were talking about how it was like so hard, the transition and getting to feel comfortable here and feeling like this is my home. And my therapist just kind of reminded me, she's like, it was so hard. This is probably going to be one of the hardest things you're doing, is moving alone to a new country all by yourself, having to figure it all out. And I was like, you're so right. Like this is going to be something I look back on that's one of my hardest experiences. Maybe not, but maybe. And it definitely wasn't easy. So I'm taking this as like, I'm going to gain from this, and I'm becoming stronger from this experience, and I'm learning so much, not even just about myself, but about the world. And obviously the fashion industry on a more international scale because I'm studying it in a different country, but just like the world and how I adapt to certain situations and what I like to do for me, and not just like following everyone else. Like I'm gaining a lot from going through hard times. So I have to remind myself of that too. Like, it's not all just scary and anxiety provoking. It's also like, I'm gaining a lot from this. I'm gonna look back and be like, wow, I freaking did it. Like, good for you, pat yourself on the back. And maybe that might not be right now, but hopefully in a few months or however long, I will look back and be like, wow, you did it and you gained a lot from that. And I know I will. I already kind of am. Another thing I wrote down is, yeah, just from going through like that hard time, I realized that I am wiser, just in general, because I had to navigate a new city, a new country, new people, a new school, all this, find my new gym, my new grocery store, my transportation, all these things. So I am wiser. Obviously book smart too, because I'm in my master's, but street smart as well. And just in general, another thing I wrote down was calmer. I realized how to adapt to situations, and I can't freak out here, because if I freak out here, I'm my only person I really got. Yes, my friends, but like, I needed to just take a breath and figure things out, and it's not the end of the world. So yeah, that really did make me a lot calmer, just this whole experience. And the last thing I wrote down was stronger. So that kind of goes hand in hand with what I was saying about the gain from going through a hard time. You do become stronger. What's the saying? It's like, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. I know it's cliche, but like, it's true. We can't deny it. It is true. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And this didn't kill me, and it's not gonna kill me. I'm not gonna let it. So I definitely am stronger than even just like 5 months ago when I got here. So yeah, I'm really grateful for that. And of course, like, I keep reaching out to my family, my friends, and like, they've been such a big help. So like, remind yourself, like, if you're in a different city, there's always FaceTime. Like, set up those arrange times on, like, if you know that you're more anxious on like a Monday or Tuesday, or they're not your best days, maybe set up a constant FaceTime with your best friend or your parents or your loved ones. Could even be a different person each time, but on that specific day, so that you have that comfort with you when you're uncomfortable. Another thing I wrote down was, there's always lows and highs, and you have to be mindful that there are going to be lows. The world isn't just an uphill. Things are gonna come into your way, and you have to deal with it and adapt and maybe even change something, but just be mindful of that, and you will become smarter in the process. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to jump on here and tell you guys what I've kind of taken so far, because I know I was so excited to come here, and I know a lot of even my friends were like, oh, we thought you were just gonna go to New York and have all these friends like you do here and all that kind of stuff, and it was not the case. It was not the case. I was uncomfortable, I was anxious, but I figured it out. I'm figuring it out. I'm still figuring it out. I'm always gonna be figuring it out, but I think I'm definitely in a better place now than I was when I was just moving here. And I think the things that my therapist kind of reminded me of was definitely helpful, and I'm more proud of myself now, and I'm cutting myself a little bit of a break. Like, it's not bad. I used to get anxious after I went out and I came home and I was alone, and like, I was hungover or whatever. Even the next morning, like, after you wake up, I was like, oh my gosh, like, I'm all alone. Like, normally I had my girls that I just like sit on the couch with and watch a show all hungover, but now it's like, I'm staring at the four walls. Yeah, I can watch a show, but it's silent other than that show. So I realized that, like, I wrote in my, because I have like a day-to-day calendar, so I wrote in my calendar, it's okay to take today off and be lazy. So I reminded myself when I looked at it, if I had anything to do that day, I was like, no, 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 it's okay. I chose to go out last night. I'm still 22 years old. I can be doing these things. This isn't taking away from school or internships or whatever, so it's okay to have fun, and it's okay to do those things, as long as you're not obviously jeopardizing other things in your life or hurting anyone. It's okay to cut yourself some slack and have those days of just being a bum and just lying on the couch and doing nothing. Like, that is okay. So yeah, if I can take anything from this whole experience, is cut yourself some slack. You're doing great, but understand your purpose, of course, and be mindful of all the highs and lows, and take the hard from your life and use it as you becoming stronger and wiser and all of the above. So yes, that is all I really wanted to say with you. But thank you for chatting with me and listening. If you have any other videos that you want, I'm sure I will post a lot of vlogs over the Christmas holidays because I'll be home with my family, and I love my family and we do a lot of fun stuff together. So I will add those onto my YouTube. But yes, have a great rest of your week and a great weekend. Cut yourself some slack, do something fun that you want to do, a hobby or anything, and enjoy the holidays.